What's happening, everybody? I'm back. It's me, your resident supervillain, Mr. J. Washington, and I'm here with my review for Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge. And if you have not seen this yet, come on back because it will be spoilers. Yo, I am late as hell doing this one. Late as hell seeing this one. I will openly admit it. You know, it's been so much to try to pick and choose to watch throughout all this while everybody's in their self-quarantines and self-imposed lockdowns, if you will. And so I literally got to, first of all, be professional and turn my fucking phone on silent. I was like, yo, I've been meaning to watch this. Let me check out this Young Scorpion's Revenge. And so I watched it. And I was like, all right, I'm used to the Mortal Kombat movies with the storyline and whatnot. But this one was so dope to me because, first of all, the action in it is phenomenal. The violence level is that what you expect of a Mortal Kombat movie. Like, you see shit. You see how Scorpion's, before he's Scorpion, he's Hanzo Hatashi, I think, or Hattori, something like that. Hatashi or something like that. How his whole entire clan and his family are murdered. And that shit is brutal. But what's even more brutal is when this motherfucker goes Super Saiyan and just starts killing everybody. And you show it in the most graphic, violent way that could only be done in a Mortal Kombat-esque fashion. From that, and then to watch the first encounter with Sub-Zero, and to see how Sub-Zero murdered him. First of all, before even how he murdered him, how Sub-Zero murdered his son was the pettiest shit in the world. Like, Sub-Zero picks up his son, like I told y'all, spoilers. Sub-Zero picks up Scorpion's son by the back of the neck, slowly makes his neck chilly. You see his son trying to breathe the frost breath. Then all you hear is him further crystallizing and freezing his neck and just and breaks his shit. You're like, damn! And that's like the first 8 minutes of the movie. But then fast forward to when he goes to hell and he's being tortured in hell. And you see Quan Chi and the demons, and then this motherfucker start murdering demons. He's murdering demons in the first encounter we see with Quan Chi, him trying to fight Quan Chi. And Quan Chi basically balling dude up. For those who've ever seen the first Tales in the Hood movie, if you remember the story about the monster with David Allen Greer, Paula Jai White, Rusty Cundiff, and David Allen Greer was the monster, and the little shorty Lester. And Lester drew the monster on the paper and he would fold it and it would break the monster up. Like, it was almost like really fucking the monster. That's what Quan Chi was doing to Scorpion. But anyway, he gives him a second chance at life to basically revenge himself against Sub-Zero, and also has him into the Mortal Kombat tournament. And that's where it gets real, because it does have that feel of what we saw somewhat in the first Mortal Kombat movie. You see Johnny Cage being down on his luck. Instead of him being in the movie where he was actually on a movie set, he's down on his luck, mansion all in shambles. He ain't had a hit in a minute. And, you know what I'm saying, his agent calls him, tells him about this big role. Shouts out to Joel McHale as Johnny Cage, which is amazing. You see Sonya street fighting, trying to catch up with Kano. It's the way it all comes together is great. But I won't go bit by bit. You see, you get Jax, you get Shiva, you get Motaro, you get Sindel, you get Kitana, you get classic Mortal Kombat characters. No, you don't get Sindel in this. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about the game that, yo, having seen the trailer for the Mortal Kombat 11 game and then watching the movie will have your mind like which was which. But to see the scene where Goro first fights, and Goro, remember in the movie he first fought Art Lean, the black dude who Johnny Cage was a fan of his, you know, his tournament wins. Well, instead of Art Lean, he fights Jax, and he proceeds. First of all, it looks like Jax is beating the shit out of him. Then Shang Tsung is like, hey, man, quit playing with your food. First of all, your food is what fucking rips Jax's arms off, which is dope, because when the sequel happens, because evidently, of course there will be a sequel, you now see how Jax will lead to be having his cybernetic arms. Perfect. One of the dopest parts, the fights are great. There's a fight with Sonya and Reptile. She decapitates Reptile. But one of the best parts is Scorpion having to fight, well, Liu Kang fighting Goro. And Liu Kang about to get his shit ripped off. And they're showing you the muscles and tendons slowly being torn inside. It's the X-ray vision that you get from the video games. And then you see Scorpion throw the spear through Goro's face, pulls his entire skull out, and you just see the skin of his head like something from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That was like, okay, this is happening, and this is WB animation. Like, the fights, the sequences, the choreography, the way they illustrated and put it all together was done extremely well. This movie is so dope. Like, I will rewatch this movie. You know, I always like, I'm not one of those people that always be like, man, we got to get this origin story, we got to get this beginnings again. Well, I think this one is different because we picked a particular character and we got their origin. And like, we know of Sonya, we know of Johnny Cage, we know of Liu Kang. The only one we really haven't had is Raiden, but you found out Raiden is a kid of an elder god. But to see Scorpion, to know that he wasn't always the soulless demon that we know him to be, that he was a man with a family, he had a wife and a son, and that was taken away from him, and then he was murdered. And it also shows why he has his grudge against Sub-Zero. That was just dope in itself. Also, to see Quan Chi as a major player in that was great too. I have to, you know what? It's so much to talk about this movie. I didn't know it was gonna be this good. I knew I saw the trailer and I was like, yo, I gotta see this. But then when I watched it, I was thoroughly impressed. Thoroughly. If I had to give it a rating on a scale of 1 to 5, this joint is getting 5 stars from your boy. I definitely recommend you check it out. You don't have to drop a little bread. You can probably get it in Target. I think I saw it today in Target for like $14.99. Or you can go ahead and have it on the digital for a dub. $20 for those who don't know what the dub is. But it's worth watching. If you got little kids that you have not yet let be introduced to that level of violence and graphic content, be a little hesitant. And I say that because we know a lot of kids play video games and whatnot that get graphic to an extent. And there's still some parents who are very apprehensive about letting their children watch those things, even when it comes to regular television and not just video games. So that be leery of it. This is an adult animated cartoon. It's adult all the way through. Even though it's based on a video game, it is adult all the way through. Or, I won't just say adult, it's mature. You know, it's that mature adults. So teenagers that have a maturity level and can understand and don't see it as, oh my God, this has got to be just real life. That, you know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, I want to know what you thought about this movie, if you've seen it, in the comments below, all right? So go ahead and like, subscribe, and click on the notification bell. Let me know if you've seen this and did you rock with it? Do you want to see it? Are you a Mortal Kombat fan? And if not, has this made you want to pique your interest? And also, has this made you want to check out Mortal Kombat 11 even more, all right? Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Mr. J Washington. It's MRJAY. You should know how to spell Washington. You really should. And check out the Mad Titan podcast. Everywhere you get your podcast from, I get you caught up on all the things happening in the Marvel and DC live action cinematic universes. It is barbershop talk for nerds. Come on in the combo, all right? Holla at y'all later. Till then, take care. I'm out. Bye.